Richie Ruckus beat.
What's going on YouTube? It's your boy, Richie Ruckus. We are back here today. It is Sunday, April 19th. And as promised in yesterday's video, we are back today with a brand new sneaker pickup. They came in probably about an hour after I got done shooting yesterday's video. It's a brand new pickup from Nike. You know, the trials and tribulations, it took forever to get here. And, mainly due to the COVID-19 pandemic that's going on globally, but they're here. I'm happy they're here. I'm ecstatic they're here. This is a pair of sneakers that I think is very, very slept on as a colorway, not so much as the silhouette, but nonetheless, it was a pair that when I first seen images, I had to get them. They were a pair of sneakers that were on my radar. The price point was there. The comfort looks like it's there, and we're going to try to do something a little bit different. Hopefully today, I've done this before. This is a pair of sneakers I never owned. In the past, when stuff like this has happened, we've done the unboxing, done the review, and then I'll go do the on feet and I'll come back with like my initial feedback on the sneaker. I'm going to do that with this pair because I've never had them on. With this whole COVID-19, with businesses being shut down, it's very, very hard to get sneakers in hand the day of the release. It's pretty much impossible. So with stuff like this, you have to order online, and it's a pair of sneakers that you never had before. You don't know how the sizing, you don't know how they're going to fit, you don't know how they're going to look in hand and stuff of that nature. I did do a little research and it did suggest going true to size. I will say that now initially, but after we get them on foot and do the on foot and I come back and give you guys my initial impression, we will get more into the fit and the sizing. Before we jump into this, if you're new to the channel, make sure you go hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, follow your boy on all social, and without further ado, you know the drill, you know why you're here. Let's get a glimpse of these Warlocks. We have the Nike Air Zoom Spiridon Cage 2. And like I said, colorway is what really drew me into these. Stussy and Nike kicked off the campaign for this silhouette with two collabs. There was like a fossil pair and like a clay pair. I'm not exactly 100% sure on the name of the colorways, but I'm going to be completely honest, and this isn't a hot take. This isn't somebody who's bitter they didn't get the Stussy collab. I prefer this colorway better. A few things. One, if you're new to the channel, your boy likes to kind of wear a little bit more of a flashier sneaker and then like with like a subtle outfit. And I do go both ways. I will wear a flashy outfit with subtle sneakers. But the Stussy collab, and this is no offense to Nike or Stussy, colorways seemed very, very similar to something Jerry Lorenzo would do with his Nike collab with Fear of God. And they had like a Yeezy color type vibe to me. And I'm not saying that these two guys have the monochrome, muted tone, earth tone colors, patterns or anything. But when so many people are in that lane, it would have been nice to see Stussy maybe venture out a little bit. I know they had like the tannish colorway and then they had like the black and gray. But this red and silver really pops for me for a few reasons. Red is my absolute favorite color. It's probably red, black, then white, and then like maybe baby blue, and then we get down to like the purples and the pinks and stuff like that. The second reason is I feel like with this being like brought to the forefront and brought to the masses, because the original pairs like didn't really do that well here in the US. I'm not even sure if they were widely available here in the US. I know recently on eBay and stuff like that they've kind of commanded a resale, and we'll get more into that later in the video. But when you're bringing a sneaker silhouette like this to the masses, I feel like what better way than do it in like an OG color scheme. This reminds me of the Air Max 1. It reminds me of the Silver Bullet Air Max 97. So to put it in the traditional red and silver and white that we're used to and accustomed to seeing on like a Nike Premier model is something that really gravitated towards me. So let's go down the checklist. 1, my favorite color. 2, what Nike usually does with what they're targeting as, the it sneaker of the time. And third, I feel like this sneaker is slept on because of the colorway. And I've done this like 2 years ago with a pair of Air Max 98s, the Unsupreme. If this sneaker had Supreme branding on it, they'd be flying off the shelves. If this sneaker had Supreme somewhere on this upper, people would be going bonkers for them and paying crazy resale. And that's where it really draws me in because I like to live above hype. If you like this colorway, you should like this colorway whether Supreme had anything to do with it or not. And the people that buy stuff for hype and leave people out in the dust, it's kind of screwed up. The same thing happened with the Tailwinds. Them Tailwinds, they were red and white, and they sold. If they were a general release and not a Supreme collab, they wouldn't have sold as well as they did. In my opinion, they would have been more limited. They would have been more widely available. They wouldn't have been as limited, and people would have been able to get them if you're a fan of this colorway. We've seen Tailwinds release in a slew of dope colorways. That new Digi Camo they just did is bananas. I'm waiting for them to go on sale, and then I'm going to scoop them up. But Supreme puts the branding on a sneaker, and it just makes it impossible. And somebody who prefers to wear red and white sneakers, or, you know, sneakers that are predominantly red or just have hints of red in them, like right now I'm rocking the OG Ghost Racers in that like Volt white and red. You know, retro Nike runners, retro Saucony runners, retro New Balance runners, retro Adidas runners are kind of like my lane and kind of what I like doing. Other than, you know, rocking Jordans and Yeezys, I do all that. But the retro runner, you know, chunky dad shoe that isn't really a dad shoe, that was out before dad shoe was a wave. It's kind of like what I like to wear, like Air Maxes and stuff like that. If you know, if you've been rocking with your boy, you know what your boy likes putting on his feet, other than just the hype stuff. What I'm saying is, if this was Supreme, I probably wouldn't have been able to get them without jumping through hoops or without paying a resale. And since, you know, this wasn't a Supreme collab and they were more readily available and easy to grab on release day, it was just a nice breath of fresh air. But a quick overview of the sneaker. They originally released in 2003. They were widely successful overseas, predominantly in Asia. And the original name of this sneaker was just the Air Zoom Spiridon. It wasn't the Air Zoom Spiridon Cage 2. It was just the Air Zoom Spiridon, which is odd because a few years prior to that, Nike released the Air Spiridon that we're all accustomed to. Mr. Stash has had his touch on his collab and stuff like that. We know what that sneaker is. If you don't, an image of it here. And the cage part was never attached to the name of the sneaker. That's something that, you know, people in the streets, people in the offices, cubicle talk, that's kind of where it came from. Nike never called it that. They didn't call it the Air Zoom Spiridon 2. They didn't attach the sequel to the name. They didn't attach the cage to the name. This isn't the first Nike to contain Zoom Air that is fully encaged. So it's, you know, I guess where the myth finally became a reality, and, you know, the legend finally became to fruition. Stuff that this sneaker was called on the street is actually what Nike went and renamed it when they did the sequel of the original release. Like I said, originally released in 2003. Again, some more fun facts about the sneaker. They were originally designed by Steven Smith. If you're an OG sneakerhead, you know Steven Smith's catalog. It's unprecedented. He is an OG pioneer into the sneaker design community. If you are new to the sneaker scene, you probably know him as the design director over at Yeezy with Adidas. One last look at the sneaker before we break down some of the aesthetics and then bang out the on foot and give my initial reaction to having them on foot. You have a 100% super breathable mesh upper. You have the red mesh laying under the silver mesh. There are hints of silver leather going around encasing the mesh. You have the silver toe box, red Nike check on the back, red Nike check on the tongue, Zoom Air branding on the back of the sole, Zoom Air branding on the bottom of the sole. Again, Nike Zoom Air branding on the insole. You also have the midsole made of this Phyllite and rubber, and it also has a full-length cushioning system inside. Some things that are a little bit different from the original release, and the biggest thing being price. The OG version of these when they originally released were $100. This pair is retailing for $140. And like I said, I got them off Nike.com, but they are readily available at major foot sites. Lapstone Hammer, I know, has them. The only reason I got these from Nike, not Lapstone, is because I had a Nike gift card that was collecting dust, and it was time to use it. And I figured what better way than to use it on a pair of sneakers I knew I was absolutely going to adore. One last look before we get into the on foot. I'm going to go bang out this on foot. I'll be back with my initial reaction. Let go.
Play this record as frequently as possible.
Richie Ruckus Beats.
back in the lab. Let's just go over a few quick couple things. Let's go over a quick few two things. Let's go over a couple 2-3 things here. One, sizing. The 8.5 fit beautifully around my foot. I have a wide foot and they still were very, very comfortable. That is the one thing about the Ghost Racers that I wish I did a little bit more research on than just grabbing them on release day. The toe box on the Ghost Racer are so narrow. The 8.5, I have to keep them untied, and I'm not really a big fan of leaving my sneakers unlaced in such a manner. But the other thing I want to touch on before we get out of here is the comfort is there, guys. These are super dope, and they are super comfortable. It is like walking on clouds. If I had to compare it to another Nike model, I would say that it falls somewhere in between like a Nike React and a Vapor Max, like a hybrid of them, but not like a React 720, if that makes any sense. But the comfort's there. I'm going to be adding more, they keep releasing dope colorways. I'm going to keep adding pairs to my collection. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the on foot. And as always, stay safe, stay calm, and most importantly, stay home. I'll be back with another video. As I spoke in yesterday's Yeezy Alva video, I didn't realize that I actually hit on a raffle for the Linden 350 V2s. So I actually purchased them after filming the 700 V3 video. So I'm waiting for them to come in and we'll bang out a Linden video for you guys. But like I said, stay safe, stay calm, stay home. I'll be back later this week with some more videos. But until then, I'm Richie Ruckus. Peace!
The number you have reached, 911, has been changed.